include your audio, lads. Is all ticked?
Yes.
Get the menus up for the actual thing. See, do that. Just make sure it's actually live, and then I will read the thing. Hello and welcome to the SLR SidePOD. I'm not sure if you can actually hear me yet or not, but it says it's online, so I'm gonna roll with it. Yeah, sorry for not being on last week, of course. Some of us weren't here, me, so we couldn't actually do it.
Yeah, let's all blame Callum.
It's all my fault. All my fault.
Roast Callum in the chat, everyone. Roast him in the chat.
Funny enough, it was almost not going to be this week because my internet wasn't on until like 3 o'clock this afternoon, so luckily it is here. And of course, in the background, background, you will see the Wednesday race as usual, which one of our commentators, Hawkers tonight, is actually racing in. Smoke. Steve-O isn't actually here this week. You're P18, mate. You know, put some faith in yourself. So yeah, Steve-O isn't here this week. Ranga is not here yet as he's doing a test. Clock is here, finally. The bastard.
What do you mean finally?
Snuck that one in.
I'm always here.
You weren't here the week before.
Oh, but
last week. And of course, you weren't here last week either, so
yeah, exactly.
you're finally here. Bloody hell. Nah, I'm messing with you, mate. I forgot what I was going to say now. Yeah, so due to sort of converging them with this week, so this week we'll be talking about last week's race, and we will be talking about this week's race. So yeah, try to follow along if you can. If you can't, then it's just a normal podcast because we just talk bare shit all the time.
Oh, that's what's fun. I hope so, at least.
I mean, we get views. I mean, people seem to like it, so well,
I like being here and just having some banter for once, and
like
just
when we
chilling
tell
out.
Rango's constantly shagging.
Yes, precisely.
That's the best.
That's probably what he's doing
already
at the
lap
moment
3
as
of the
well.
race. No, he's doing testing at the moment, mate. He's not shagging. Unless he's shagging the
Yeah,
person he's testing, so I don't know.
Imagine that.
That'd be fucking weird. He's cheating on his girlfriend with someone who wants to do it.
I wonder who's listening to you right now.
That would be great.
Oh dear.
Oh,
Well, we've got
God.
seven people listening at the moment, so.
Oh, this is a very professional
I
start.
hope his girlfriend's not listening.
Welcome everyone to the SLR SidePOD.
Oh, that would be great. I'd pay good money for her to tune in when I said that. Oh, what a great start to the podcast. Oh, anyway. Let's move on.
Yeah, get your.
You can try.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
oh, give me a second, I need to pause myself. Alrighty then, yeah, so, as you probably...
Oh, here he is.
Jaggers himself is here.
Oh, do you want to repeat what you just said earlier, Callum?
I really don't, to be honest.
You gotta say it to his face, Callum. You can't just speak on his back.
Save it till it's off stream, Callum. So I reckon I've got an idea what it already is.
It's already said on stream, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, for God's sake. Anyway, sorry, I'm late, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. Just we were too busy doing some tests, Ranga nap in full swing. Yeah, we've seemed to have got a few new drivers over the line. Terrific drivers.
Callum's still right.
What is going on? You know, welcome to the podcast, Southerners.
Yeah.
God's sake. God's sake.
Oh, Callum, just so you know, Beast Assassin says in the chat that the game sounds a bit too loud.
Oh,
If you can-
cat.
If you can try to sort that when you calm down. It's just the way, Ranga. The thing, why we're laughing is because the thing he said about you before he came on, then you started explaining the test. And it just made it a bit more funny.
It's more like happy hour.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I can't. We need to try and be serious now.
Oh, I'm
Callum.
so sorry, everyone.
I mean, at least we're having fun, isn't that the...
Stop going.
We have 11
do you
views as
think?
well, according to my Twitch, so...
We have 13 actually.
Oh, 13. Oh, that's even better.
It's gonna be.
Well, I love that it was only 5 when you actually said the thing about Ranga, so half of our viewers
Yeah,
don't
no.
even know what you're laughing at. And Ranga's
Oh,
just
I'm
here like,
so
what
sorry,
the fuck
Ranga.
is
As
that?
far as everyone's
don't
aware
know,
of,
yeah.
someone's tickling your pickle.
I'm struggling as to. Oh my word. Callum's got, he's got the best laugh on the If someone finds me a better laugh than this one,
Taking a
then
drink
I'll.
when he said that.
My word.
He said tickle your pickle and it's all related to what we were talking.
I know what you're talking about. I'm not even going to ask. I know what it was.
Oh, you're just gonna have to watch the podcast back.
Yeah, anyone who wants
Anyway.
to know why
Okay.
Callum is... Anyone who
Let's-
wants to know why Callum is laughing, you gotta review back to the start of the pod when it's over.
Okay.
Let's try and be serious now.
Good luck.
Okay, everyone. Let's get back to the actual topic at hand. Finally, Ranga's here, so we can start, even though it's me who's been holding it up.
Don't start laughing.
Alright, so
Fucking hell.
I'm not laughing. What are you on about? I'm trying not to laugh while talking. So, yeah, we were
Oh,
we will be talking
Okay,
about
Oh,
Vietnam,
for God's
which was last week. I was trying to think what to say. Okay. So, last week we had Vietnam, which of course many of you know is a new track to the calendar this year. Of course, due to COVID-19 it wasn't actually raced in the real world of F1. But here at SLR, of course, we are sticking to the full calendar, not to the revised
shouldn't have.
calendar for this year. I know Vietnam is.
Yeah, I kind of agree after that last weekend.
Yeah, let's.
I
let's
think
get
it was
started in a
brilliant.
second, lads, please. So I can keep on track and not lose myself. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We've got,
What?
of course.
What? Go on.
Go on. No, you
No,
go.
no, you go.
You
No,
go on,
the floor.
no.
The floor
You
is
go.
yours.
No, you fuck it. No.
Well,
you
I was
go.
gonna say, if you're asking for our opinions as to how we feel the race went, then I'm afraid it's not gonna get rave reviews from me. If I'm being honest with you.
Oh,
to be
you're
fair
gonna get
though,
rave
to be
reviews.
fair though,
I
your
honestly think-
crash was one of the most unlucky things I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm not talking. I'm not even talking about my crash. I'm not. It's nothing. My opinion on the track has got nothing to do with my incident.
Oh, you meant
whatsoever.
like
It was just
you meant
just-
the race.
No. I'm talking about the Div 1 race or any race as such. I'm just from my own personal experience of practicing the track or actually racing in it or so on and so forth. I think obviously when it was like released and stuff, there was a lot of hype about it, and we were all pretty stoked. Like, oh yeah, gonna get new tracks and this and that. But I think if you look at it, obviously in a little bit of hindsight now, having with the league race being done, it's just such an awful track. It's
Yeah.
such a bad
Yeah.
track. It doesn't promote any quality of racing whatsoever. Like the nature of the corners means that it's so hard to overtake in places, and people maybe get tricked into moves that aren't actually there. And there's a lot of clips that I've seen from the I've seen quite a fair few clips from all over the divisions. So many of these clips or so many of these incidents could have been easily avoided because of the nature of the track and because maybe people thinking they can make moves that they can't necessarily make. It's just created carnage. I think it's just a good job we didn't have the bloody safety car on, and we would probably still be there right now.
Well, you say that safety car
Yeah.
did make an appearance in qualifying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That,
What do you mean?
yeah. I mean, it
What
was all, in the qualifying when you watched on the stream. Basically the safety car was out. For the people who were actually racing in it, it wasn't there. But if you were watching on the stream, you would be able to see that there was a safety car going around during qualifying. So,
That's unfortunate.
although it was turned off, it was was supposedly turned off. It was it still made an appearance. So it's
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one in terms of the game, but that's not why we're here, is it?
No.
I don't know. I've said my piece on the track. I think it's probably the worst track I've ever driven on an F1 game ever. I'd much rather they brought something back like Malaysia.
That's a fair point, but it's a harsh comment though to say the worst track ever. Did you do like Korea
Yes.
on like 2020, 2011?
Yeah, I love that
Yeah.
track.
Nah, it wasn't good. In two straights and then
What a great track.
nah.
No, it wasn't a great track, I know, but I think I like Korea because I think that was like my first F1 game. Like apart from the 2006 on the PSP. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
that is the
was
best game,
Oh.
best game, F1 game ever, hands
Oh,
down.
without-
F1
yeah,
2006. Oh, I love that game so much.
without a doubt. But I mean, like after that, the next game I had was 2012, and Korea was on it. And because Korea was on it, and I kind of got back into F1 because of it, I've got a bit of a soft spot for it personally. But I think obviously your opinion changes as well. If I was to race Korea now, having as much experience now as I've got in terms of league racing and so on and so forth, and when I have some other department, it would be probably a little bit different to what it is. But I can't warm to Vietnam, and I can't see myself warming to it. To be really honest with you.
I feel like it feels a bit similar to, for me personally, when Baku came in 2016. If there was a track I really disliked when it came out, it was Baku. It's grown on me now. I don't think it's as horrible, but when it came out, I just couldn't handle the track. I just thought it was shit, and then when I started doing league racing in 2018, but it's okay. I mean, it's a bit boring, but it has an interesting
good
thing.
racing
But
at times.
yeah, exactly. That's what makes it good, and the races are usually bonkers there.
Yeah.
But then obviously when you do league racing, if you just practice, you will learn all the tracks, and I did. But then Kosha appeared, but let's not talk about that.
Oh my god, those are the days.
Yeah,
Uh,
horrible days.
For me, Vietnam. I'm on. I agree with Ranga. I can't. I don't think I can see myself liking that track. If anything, I think it's a bit of a weird track, which is quite inconsistent. I mean, you've got one hairpin that is quite tight and can be a bit difficult to defend against drivers. Sorry, clock. and then you got two of the roundabout corners, which, well, under throttle they're a bit difficult. You've got a painful last sector where if you get it wrong, you're in the wall, and then you've got a really long straight, which a lot of stuff can cross your mind during going down that straight. I just think it's a track which someone's just included a bit of everything, but
Doesn't really work.
It's not
wasn't really
come
merged.
together, is it? No, it's not.
But I must say that I like the second roundabout corner, or whatever you want to call it. I think it's a bit of a unique corner, just going right, left, and then that's like a half weird traction zone onto the straight. I think I think it fits a bit coming onto the straight. It makes you gotta work for the overtake. Although the DRS is so late, so you gotta equip everything to overtake. But the problem is that when you reach the hairpin, as we experienced, you and me, even if you're in full lock, you still go out to the right maximum, and the one on the outside can't do anything basically. I mean, because I've seen it from your view. Initially I was really pissed off. For anyone who doesn't know, I overtook him on the outside on the straights, and when he broke it than me, and we just went side by side, and he was on the inside, and even though he was full lock, he just went out as far to the right as possible, and I ended up off track and losing 2 positions. Yeah. But it's, I mean, as I said, initially I was really angry because I was like, why would he do that, idiot? But then I saw your perspective, and I realized, oh, he's full lock. He's actually made the corner, because I left you space, of course, as I would, and you made the corner. You slowed down, you go full lock, but the corner's just too tight. You can't race. It's too tight.
Yes, it's just one of them, really. Yeah, but
and it's the
got past me in the end. But unfortunately, yeah, it could have been one high if it wasn't for what it was. But it was a good battle.
Yeah. The second one was pure frustration. I mean, the second I lost position to Kolka and McHugh, and I was like, I'm gonna get this guy if I have to put him in the wall. I was really frustrated. That was like my mindset. I'm like, I need to do everything. Then I managed it, but yeah. I saw the same things in the elite stewards meeting with Freeman and Midse. Yeah, it was Midse. They had 2 battles on lap 22 and lap 23, where Midse defends the inside into turn 1, and Freeman tries to overtake on the outside. It's just the same case. It doesn't work because the hairpin is too tight. Even though it turns to the right after, it just doesn't work.
Yes, Callum.
Do you know Unbeatable Ace?
Of course I do.
Did you do the test for him?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm not liking his racecraft at the moment on the Wednesday race. He's doing double moves and basically pitting people off the track.
I'll message you about later.
Ah, right. Okay, that's interesting.
It's really strange though. I
didn't recruit him, but I tested him.
Going side by side through 2 sectors, and it was perfect. But when you're following him down a straight, he's side to side all over the place. Very strange.
Yeah, he's doing.
I think it's a combination. Firstly, he's new to league racing, so that's bound to happen, I guess. But he was obviously. I mean, if he's, if anyone is wondering if his racecraft was if his racecraft was questionable, he wouldn't have been brought into the league. I can guarantee you that. It's not like we're shorter drivers, or we need to lower our standards so we can fill our grids, so on and so forth, whatever you want to call it.
He's just flustered.
I mean, I just wanted to bring it to your attention, mate. To be honest,
it's fine.
I've just seen what I class as unreasonable racing from him from when he's been battling multiple people. So, just wanted to bring it to your attention.
I'm sure we'll look at it. I think Smoke's, if he's already on it, so Smoke, the new league manager, that's what we want to call him. So, I'm trying to think of a new name.
League manager?
Yeah, well, Smoke's basically. Well, go on, Smoke. You're the expert. You tell the world what's happened.
Back last season when it was originally Division 1, 2, 3, I started in Division 2 and got given head admin when that eventually got brought in. A few races later or something, I got moved up, I moved up into the top division.
Oh my God.
So I kind of took it on as a joint role with Freeman. But to be honest, Freeman's a good admin. He deals with everything instantly as soon as anything goes up. So it's kind of pointless me being head admin. It's just there for the sake of it. So I'm stepping down as head admin, but I still do a lot of other things. Well, like running the Discord and everything. So kind of just taking a different sort of position. I don't know what you want to call it yet. Just a little bit.
League manager. I'm thinking that. I don't know. We'll work it out officially at some point. But it's along those lines. But no, we've got completely off topic on Vietnam. But
Well, I'll bring us back in then.
I was
Yeah,
going
but
to say
something to add
something
to the hairpin thing.
Hairpin time.
Back to when you were saying it's like it can be done going side by side through that hairpin at the end of that long straight, because there was a clip put in the media share with you, Quark, actually.
Yeah, it was
Seen
me and
that.
Coca. That wasn't
I don't think there was
really.
any-
I mean, I overtook Southerners there as well, in the same way as I tried to when I got wide. But it's, you know, as soon as you try to defend a bit more aggressive, as he did in the first time, then because he obviously, because I was ahead of him when we started braking, then he broke later.
Yeah, just
So he still made the corner, but he broke so late that he, like, even though it was full lock and like really slow, it just couldn't make it and leave space.
yeah.
So that's what
I was just gonna say, like every drive, they try and defend their place, and of course, again, it's a new track on the game. It's just one of them things you learn, really. I know. I mean, you did the same move and you completed it. That's just because I learned from that one incident. You just learn these on new tracks, really. Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing I don't like about it from the league owner's perspective is obviously we've got our system, is what wants to call it, in terms of where we give people 5 races to work out, you know. But not sorry to work out, because we like to think we've got a pretty good bloody idea when they get put in the divisions in the first place. But we give people 5 races basically just to kind of see if they really are in the right division. Because sometimes, you know, it's not easy to do so many tests and get everyone in the right division first time. Lucky, as we've shown, we've had to move some people, so it's not been completely perfect. But yeah, it's having the new track hasn't really helped us. I feel we've had I mean, if we're being honest, we had Cheesy Train in Div 2 who set an incredible lap time and was gonna win until right at the end.
Yeah.
I think, but he's regardless. I don't know how far ahead he was, but he
only did that like 5 seconds, something like that.
Right. Okay. Well, he set a pretty head and shoulders lap time. I'm pretty sure in quality above everyone else. I'm pretty sure. And had it been China or a track that people are used to been racing at, or were a lot more comfortable at than Vietnam, it's probably safe to say you wouldn't be in Div 2 anymore. But because of just because of everyone, you know, it's a new track for everyone, and some people would have learned it faster than others, and some people just are going to be better at it than others because, you know, maybe people don't like change or aren't good when it comes to change, in terms of, you know, they're not able to be, you know, just turn it on as fast as they could, say, if they, you know, rocked up and just raced at China, which they've been doing that for, you know, maybe a whole bunch of F1 games. But yeah, it's not ideal for us guys having to check grids, and, you know, we having drivers' messages saying like, "Really, do you think this guy's in the right grid?" or admins being like, "Should we move this guy?" It's not ideal, but at the end of the day, I think it's we just kind of got to take it with a pinch of salt. You know, it showed that some guys are definitely in the right division. I think G showed that. It's it kind of works both ways, but from our perspective, I don't think it's going to make things overly easy. But hopefully, if people are in the wrong division, then they'll start to show that this week or next week.
Yeah.
Talking about movements and lap times, I've got a really interesting thing for it. Maybe it's just me thinking it's interesting since it's statistics, but
Go on then.
Oh god.
Because in Div 3, the fastest lap in the race was a 1:38, which was the slowest, as expected from Div 3. But then in Div 2, Cheesy Train rocked up with a 36.3. In Div 1, JH did a 35.9, so that's still quicker than Div 2. But in Elite, the fastest lap was Crispy on a 36.5. 36.7, which is slower than both Div 1 and Div 2, which I think is a
Interesting.
pretty interesting thing.
Damn.
What point of
Although
the
I
race
didn't
did
watch
you
the
do that?
elite race, I don't know. I just thought it was really interesting to see that elite actually had the third slowest, fastest lap out of all across all the divisions and Vietnam.
That's crazy.
That means
that
we
depends
now-
on.
That means that we now have a second division lap record again, since JH will have the lap record for Vietnam. Because it's only been one race
yeah.
though. Well, 4.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Smoke?
I think a lot of people in Elite tried the one stop, which will kind of
Yeah.
the lap times will be slower. I think most people did the one stop actually.
It's still interesting.
Yeah, I
because
guess it depends on the strategy.
Yeah, it's still 8/10 up to the div 1 time and 5/10 off the div 2 time. So it's I mean it's still interesting. Of course, there's going to be reasons, but I think it's interesting. Yes, it's just interesting. Might just be me, but you know what I'm
No,
like
no,
when
I
it comes
get-
to,
no, I get
to
what you're
reading
saying.
numbers and.
Well,
It's a fair point.
with so all of you did the race or did watch the race?
Tried to. I think
Well-
I did. I think I watched every race. To be fair, I mean, I missed a little bit at the end of Div 2, so I was having the food. But I'm pretty sure I watched every lap
Oh,
of
mate, you
every
missed the
other
best
race.
bit.
Yeah. Exactly, I was gutted. I watched the whole start and stuff, but and in terms of best bit, I managed to see Craig take the dub on Saturday at Div 3, and that made my weekend. So I'm happy about that. But I think I was actually surprised. I don't mean to be disrespectful to anyone, but obviously there was a fair share of incidents. But if I'm brutally honest, I thought there was going to be a lot worse incidents than there actually were. I really thought it was going to be like at times almost like a demolition derby. It's such a new track to people, and mistakes happen, and especially when people are going wheel to wheel around a new track. It's hard enough when you're driving it by yourself. When you're going wheel to wheel, things can happen. But I was surprised, pleasantly surprised at generally how good most of the racing was. Anyway, from a personal opinion. Anyway, I don't know if anyone feels slightly differently, but.
No, I agree. I remember there was a lot of joking around, I think, when people first racing at Vietnam, that if one person loses it in Sector 3, then it's just going to cause a pile-up, but you didn't really see that. I mean, you saw someone maybe lose an end plate, but even still, it was able to finish off the lap, etc., maybe do a few more or come in at the end of the lap. You'd even actually see wheel-to-wheel racing going through that sector. I can't remember what division it was. It might have actually been Division 3? I just remember seeing it and I thought, well, it goes to show that you can wheel-to-wheel race around that sector. It's a fair play to them drivers. But yeah, like you said, yeah, it's just a bit surprising to see how clean it as it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't eat our words when we go to China this weekend. It's an absolute wipeout. But, well, yeah. Hopefully not. Let's hope. But yeah, I mean, I can't really talk about it in terms of racecraft or something. I mean, I guess I can talk about it, but it still feels a bit raw, having been involved in such an annoying incident from a personal perspective. But I don't know.
Well, I'm just going to say this now before we move on to the next bit of our topic about Vietnam. I hate it. I have only done 5 or 6 laps of Vietnam. And not only do I not want to see it ever again on an F1 game, I don't want to see it as a track ever again. It just is such an annoying track to drive. I'm not sure if anyone else is like that, but I personally don't like any of it. Every corner just doesn't flow for me.
Yeah.
I'm getting the impression you don't like it.
I just wish.
Yeah, funny enough.
I just wish they brought
It
Malaysia back. It's the same part of the world.
Same.
Malaysia's
I love
Malaysia's
Malaysia.
a great track. I just wish. I
also
feel like
the
Malaysia with the current cars would be so good to drive.
Yeah.
So
the
good
weather
to
in
drive.
Malaysia as well is always
Yeah.
throws a
To be
really
fair,
nice spanner into the works.
Speaking of weather, Vietnam's quite well. It's near the equator. It gets pretty hot and humid in Vietnam. I was really surprised that every single division had full
Yeah.
dry, didn't they?
Probably nothing.
Did even F2? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, even F2.
F2 was dry as well. Everything.
Every single division, all 5 divisions.
Even in the
had-
That's strange.
well, this time last week on the Wednesday.
Wow.
All dry.
I know Vietnam's quite known for its rainy seasons.
Exactly.
That can last months and months. So, I mean, there is a very high chance of rain in Vietnam, even if it is dynamic and official weather.
It's
Damn, I'm
Can't com-
surprised.
So can't complain though. I mean, it was a long race as it was. I mean, if you chuck in a bit of rain, add another 10-15 seconds onto your lap time. Yeah, would have been
How many laps was
probably just about an hour. I
Vietnam?
want to say 20, 28, 29.
Yeah,
yeah,
about
something
that.
like that. Yeah.
Something like that. It felt long anyway. Might have been just the heat. What
Yeah.
made it worse?
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't race last week. Not because I didn't. I just can't get my head around Vietnam. I've watched so many videos of people going around the track like it's second nature, and I'm driving around it thinking, how am I going to crash this time? Because I know for a fact, no matter what I do, I'm going to crash. I just can't get the car around the track in a way that's quick, consistent, and flows properly. I fucking hate it so much.
I think
Well, you're lucky you didn't even have to race on Saturday.
yeah.
Exactly.
I think
I'm glad.
you've made it harder for yourself though as well by having that mindset
That is true.
going into a race. I really believe that the mindset you have coming into a race is really going to affect your results in some way. When
Look, I'm just.
I mean,
gonna-
I've seen
just
it
gonna-
myself
I'm gonna tell
when you
this
go
now,
into a
mate.
track.
Bullshit.
when you really like, look at Ranga for example. When he comes to Australia, he always does well there. He comes in with a mindset. I assume he's confident. He knows he's quick. It's the same with me and usually in Barcelona. I often have a lot of confidence there. I'm usually quick. I know it's gonna go well if I can just stay out of trouble. And then I come to like Singapore, and I do shit in time trial. I'm far behind, and you like think they're like, oh my god, this is gonna be bad. Or like Bahrain as well for me. You just when you look at yourself doing bad at some track and start thinking that like you did, like where am I gonna crash? I think you've given yourself even more of a disadvantage coming into the race just by making yourself worse because of the
That's a
mindset
really
you
valid.
have.
That's a really valid point. I completely agree with Clock. I know from personal experience, as he says, and I turned up to a track like Australia. I've had a good track record. You don't even think about it. If you're confident about a track or you've got good experiences at a track, you don't even think about DNFing. You don't even think about where am I going to crash, how am I going to screw it up this week. It doesn't happen. But even if you rock up to a track and you think, right, how am I going to bin it this week, or who's gonna mess me up this week, or how many times the steward's going to give me a bad decision this season, you're automatically on the back foot. You put yourself under more pressure than you're already under.
For me, it's kind of the opposite. I feel if like you've got some drivers where they're like, oh, I can't wait for Austria. If you have that attitude and like you think your best track's gonna be at Austria, for me that would up the pressure.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
that's
because
it.
if you don't perform well, then you go, oh well. Looking forward to that, and it ended in 3 laps. But if you approach the track where you know you're not the greatest, then it kind of eases the pressure a bit, and you might find yourself going a few tenths quicker per lap. No nerves.
But that's
Yeah.
like the middle tracks. But I feel like the ones you think you really feel like bad, like Bahrain is the typical example for me. I just dislike that track. I can't. I mean, in career mode, I'm plumb lost. In the league race, well, to be fair, I was lagging quite a bit in the start, but I qualified. I qualified pretty badly. I had an incident running around in P15 or whatever it was, and then just crashed because, yeah, well, because I usually I didn't have the concentration. I mean, but I do agree with you that you really best tracks. It does put pressure on you. When I do a race at Monaco, after the 2 first seasons when I won like stupendously easy.
Okay,
Then
bragging
in
rights.
season 3, I mean it's true. I'm not even bragging now. It's just true. And then when we came into season 3, I was like, oh shit! I mean, I know I'm probably the quickest here. I know everyone expects me to win. I know I expect myself to win. It's like when you look at Toto Wolff in every time when Mercedes doesn't win, the director just decides to cut to Wolff to see his reaction. And I mean, in the last race, they finished 2nd and 3rd, and he still sits there in the garage and is like looks super disappointed because he did not win.
Imagine
And that's
being,
like how it
imagine being
feels.
frustrated.
Yeah, but it's like that's what it is when it's on a track where you just put huge expectations on yourself. That's dangerous as well if you can't handle it. But I think it's better that you put huge expectations and fail rather than just lowering your own self-esteem, crashing your confidence down.
Yeah,
I
agree.
It's expecting nothing. I don't enjoy those races. It's not fun coming into a weekend with the mindset that I know I'm gonna crash on lap 10 or whatever. Why even bother doing the race if you have that mindset?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I agree. I feel like if you're confident, it gives you a few more tenths. I just feel like you've got the confidence to throw it into a particular corner. You think that you've got the ability around that particular track to hold it or to gain something from driving in a particular style that you might not if you're too worried about when and where you're going to bin it. Or at least if
I feel
you
like
think
the biggest pessimist at
if
the
you
moment now.
but if you think I understand if you're expected to win, if you're expected to turn up to a weekend and dominate it, then I can understand why people might let pressure get to them. That's a natural thing. But I feel like if it's within yourself, then you should be able to tell yourself that I can have a good result here. Or a lot of the time in league racing, you don't even have to drive out your skin to get a good result. You've just got to keep it clean. You've got to try and keep it clean, steer clear of incidents, and just be consistent. And you're gonna get some good points. You haven't got to set the world alight. You haven't got to be setting fastest laps on the last lap on a used set of hards. You've just got to be consistent and just keep it out of the barriers or keep it away from people and avoid incidents. Obviously, it's a lot easier said than done. That's firsthand. I was trying to do what I've just said. Is exactly what I was trying to do last week in Vietnam. Just keep it clean, keep it consistent, have a good race, and I'll try and get some points. I think I was on for P5 or P6. I can't remember which one it was. Probably P6. And to be honest, I would have taken that. Considering I didn't like the track whatsoever, and I felt like I was on for a decent result. But, shit happens. So, but if you go into it thinking, these guys are quicker than me, or I'm not going to do a good job this weekend because, I'm not as good as these guys, and so on and so forth. I think you automatically put yourself 3/10 down on them. Really?
Do you know what I find funny about this whole? Do you want? Go on, Clock. You start.
That's what I say. But that was exactly what happened to me in Monaco last season, when Jocko crashed in qualifying and blocked my second lap, which meant that I had to start second, which is still good, but in Monaco it's not ideal. as everyone knows. But then I was like really stressed instead when I was second. I shouldn't be stressed when I'm in second. It's a good result. But coming into the race, and half of the league were like, oh, well, not half the league, but in like the admin chats, it was like, oh, Clock's just gonna win. It's don't worry about the Div 2 race. And I'm like, oh shit. And suddenly Jocko crashed in qualifying, and I'm in P2, and I'm like, I feel like I have to win, so I try to go for the overtake, and it was you, Smoke, actually won it, wasn't it? And I put it into a wall. I put it into the wall after a safety car. Just going on the throttle too early because I was just trying to pass him, even though it was not gonna work. It was just a case of just a wrong mindset, trying to force myself to win.
Yeah. There's a big difference between external pressure and internal confidence. Like, you're allowed to be, I think some people, even when some people have got internal confidence, I think a lot of people, myself included, particularly historically, sometimes get conscious about coming across as cocky or coming across as, overconfident. But there's no harm in having self-confidence or belief in your own ability, but it's a case of managing that. So if you do have to deal with external pressure, it doesn't become a factor that kind of prohibits you from doing the best that you can possibly do, if that makes sense. It's a case of basically managing expectations that are put on you by others, but that's gonna happen with anyone. I mean, Hamilton turns up pretty much every race weekend as the favourite. I'm not saying that as a Hamilton fan, but if I'm being honest, particularly in this current season, if there's a weekend that he doesn't turn up to as a favourite, it's pretty rare, isn't it? Really. So you got to think about. He's obviously got to deal with his own self-expectations. He's expecting himself to win. That's a completely separate thing to dealing with the external pressure, and that's why it's such a hard thing to do. And I think if you combine that with Vietnam, obviously people have been learning a brand new track, and you've got to combine several factors. Really, I know it's such a complicated thing, but we're literally only talking about a video game, I guess, at the end of the day. But it's just a lot of thought processes go into it for people to perform in the way they do. Being honest with you,
It doesn't feel like a video game, though, does it? When you're actually in
no,
it?
of course it doesn't. No, of course it doesn't.
It's...
I mean, we wouldn't put so much effort and time into the league if we just considered it as a video game. It's literally it's been a massive. I mean, myself and Clock having been here since day one, since absolute beginning. It's not far off 2 years now.
It's been 2 years since we all started. Fucking hell.
Exactly.
Jesus.
Nearly 2 years. It's so much more than just a video game, particularly from our perspective. I'm looking, with overseeing every division, or just being able to see what happens in every division. I understand maybe some guys turn up and it is just a video game for them because their role is a driver, and that's fair enough. But as you find the higher you go through the divisions, I feel like the less you find people just seeing it as just a video game. The amount of time that people put into practice and the amount of money that people spend is not, you wouldn't class it as just a video game. I mean, speaking, and that's why I think, from my perspective anyway, it was great to see Craig win at the weekend, because obviously he'd never been in a league before and joined SLR, and I think a lot, people, it's almost like your first love, isn't it? When you join your first league, you kind of have some sort of affiliation to it.
I hate
it's like,
Great. Speak for yourself.
yeah, I know, but like obviously, like I think mine and Clock's first league was the same, and it's just, like at the time you think this is like the best thing ever. You look back on it, and you look back at it, but you still think about some of the good moments that were in that league, even though it's been overshadowed by rubbish.
Yeah, I can understand your point of view, but you've got to think that I joined, that particular season we all left, so I only did like 6 races. So it doesn't really have that place for me, but...
That's true. I mean, I won a championship there, and I've never won a championship since, so it's a bit different for me. I guess.
I mean, it's really hard. It's stupendously hard to win a champ. First of all, you gotta turn up. That is the. Let's be honest, Ranga, you would have won the first championship. You would have been the Season 1 Div 2 champion if you did turn up.
Yeah, but if we look at Division 1, well, Division 2 / Division 1 has developed over time. If we were to look at, take the grid for Division 1, let's say we could just clone the drivers who are still in the... I think, to be honest, it's only me and you, is it? Me, who are still in Division 1, who are in Division 1 now, who started in Division 2, I'm guessing. But let's say we could clone ourselves and have a race against ourselves and compare that grid to the current grid. I think you'd expect the guys in the current Div 3 to give the guys who were in the old Div 2 a pretty good run for their money. But I'm being honest with you, the game's grown, the league's grown, and so therefore the general competitiveness has grown. So, it's easy to say that I would have won the championship. I mean, maybe I would have won the championship, but I don't know. It wouldn't have been. Well, I mean, I won fair. I won a fair few races.
But
What I'm trying to say, it wouldn't have been anywhere as near as satisfying.
Yeah, to say back to it is more than just a game. The emotions are there. If you have a bad race, you're frustrated. If you win a race or get a podium, you feel on top of the world, like any driver would in real life. I mean, you had, when the virtual Grand Prix were going on, when the races weren't happening because of COVID-19, you were having the likes of Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, they're all saying, they're all really nervous before the race. Really nervous, just because they're racers and the adrenaline wasn't there. I mean, I joined SLR in April, and well, for me anyway, and probably 99.9% of everyone in SLR, everyone's dream in this league was to at some point be a Formula 1 driver. It was certainly mine. But of course, obviously that didn't happen. But this is like the closest I can get to it, and that's what SLR League Racing has been able to give me. It's been able to give me the emotion to feel on top of the world by getting your first podium, to be involved in battles. It gives you, obviously, not as much as the real thing, but near enough. It gives you that emotion if you were a real Formula 1 driver.
And that's always, at least me personally, I think a lot of us, that's our aim, to bring in the realism. We want to have ghosting off. We want to have the safety car on if just the game could work. I mean, we're bringing on trophies for this season. All the championship winners, drivers' championship winners, will get a trophy. I mean, funded by partly the small profit from the merch, and then from all of the LOs on money, as we have agreed on. And I think it just shows everyone's commitment and how. I mean, you want to reward the drivers winning by making them feel like they really won. I mean, there's nothing more I want in the world than a trophy in my room that says SLR Division 1 champion, or whatever it says. Imagine having that. It would be so amazing, and it might just sound stupid since it's a game, but for me it would mean so much if you've actually done it.
You'll make your CV
it's like
as well.
Yeah.
So when
just put in my CV when I apply for a new job.
AOR, you take me in, man. So,
I've got to put it into my real life CV as well. SLR champion. Gotta know that. Bring the trophy to the interview as well. Look at this.
Thing is, you actually would do that. That's not even like you're not even joking. You would do that.
No, I wouldn't. Oh,
yeah. All right.
All right, lads. Can I steer us towards getting towards the quiz, lads? Because we have been doing this for 50 minutes now.
Wow.
We spent the last 20 minutes talking about the same thing. Oh,
Time
because
flies
I
when you're
said the
having
wrong
but I think
thing.
it's an important discussion though, isn't it? I mean,
Well, I
the
mean,
Oh yeah,
what?
of course it is.
confidence
I'm just-
levels
can I-
and
Can I just explain what actually was going through my head when I said that? I said
yeah.
Oh god.
I was looking at each lap as where am I going to crash next? Not because of confidence issues, but because of learning issues. Because every time you crash, you've got to learn from that. So you're thinking
Very true.
it's confidence issues. I'm thinking of it as, okay, where am I going to crash next? Where can I learn to do that different? And then the whole discussion sparked, and I was like, oh
But
shit,
still-
no.
yeah, but it wasn't.
If you're-
I mean,
if you're-
it wasn't
if you're
directly
thinking-
aimed at you. I mean,
No,
Yeah.
it just popped into my head when you said that. It wasn't like, oh, Callum, your confidence is shit. You gotta put yourself together now. It wasn't like that. It was-
I think
Sugarcoat it, why
even
not?
if you're thinking, where am I going to crash next, just because you're not confident of the track or you need to learn the track, still not in the right place. It still comes down or comes back to the same thing that we've been talking about. In my opinion, it's you've got to have a lot of things in place, which is what we were saying, to feel wholly confident within a track. And obviously, learning a new track is a massive factor of your confidence when racing. But I understand your point, but I feel like at the end of the day, if you're not, if you're still thinking, where am I going to crash this week for whatever factor, including not just not knowing the track, then you're not confident and you're not going to be the driver you might be should you turn up to a track that I mean, for starters, you should turn up to a track that you actually know. Otherwise, you're already going to be a bit behind, aren't you? If you're thinking that way, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they're completely fair enough. It's just
I think you had. Go on.
This is my experience of the F1 games. I mean, I played F1 2010 when it first came out, and the way I learned each track was to go around and just tear the track apart. If I
Test the
crashed,
limit.
I crashed, and I learned from it. And that's why I've learned the tracks over the years. I mean, Baku, I started off with, crashing at each corner and figuring out how the hell not to crash the next corner. So, unfortunately for me, the only way I've learned is where have I crashed, where to learn from it. Because, of course, I've been playing it since I was, 9? I was 9 when 2010 came out, and just sort of stuck as my way of learning. And I know that does seem like a bit, what's the word? Stupid to learn that way, but it's just how I've learned, basically. If I want to get quicker at a track, I'll just blitz a corner, and if I fucking go spinning,
Right.
I know not to do it.
But I don't think anyone's going to
surprised-
question the way that you're learning tracks. I think you do you, Chief, and whatever works for you is whatever works for you. I think.
Yeah.
It does work though. I mean, I know it's a completely different. Well, I know it's 2 wheels instead of 4 wheels, but Mark Marquez in MotoGP, he, about every weekend crashes about 3-4 times. But when it comes to the race, he blitzes it. I mean, last season, he almost won every single race. That it's just testing the limit, knowing where that line is, and going on from there. Really, and once you know right where the limit is, and you find yourself possibly clearing off at the first place.
I find that really interesting how people practice, because when I try to learn, I take it the complete opposite way. I start with going like slowly, with the aim of crashing as little as possible, because I want to try and get consistent as early as possible. And then when I know the track, I start braking later and going on the throttle quicker and testing new lines. And
Strange how it's the
obviously
complete opposite.
it works. Obviously it works for me, but I think that's really a thing how people practice. If you goes guns blazing straight away into the first turn, of course you're gonna crash. I would as well, especially at the new track. But personally, I just like to just take it slow, just figure it out. Maybe, especially when it's a new track, just watch someone on YouTube to see the optimal line. Because I don't have the racing line on, so especially when it's a new track, it's a bit tricky for me at the start to even know what lines I should take. Well, what's optimum? Of course, I have, a fair idea, because I'm not stupid. Everyone knows the racing line is go from the outside to the inside and so on, but it's...
You're not stupid?
Fuck off. It just had to come. It just had to come.
Yeah.
It's too good an opportunity not to, I'm being brutally honest with you.
Fair enough. Fair enough. It's what I would expect from you as well, to be fair. You'd probably expect the same from me anyway,
Exactly.
so...
Oh well. Anyway, lads, to not sound rude and to cut off the conversation short, we have got 5 minutes until 10 o'clock. I would like to get
we'll
Clock's
be
quiz
alright.
done before 10 o'clock,
We'll be alright.
possible. So if you're all ready to move on, I mean, we can always have a discussion in a bit, but
Alright, boss man.
yeah,
Whatever you say.
I would personally like to move on to Clock's quiz. Sorry.
Can I get a jingle, Callum? I remember you and Steve had a jingle 2 weeks
Oh
ago.
shit! I forgot about this week.
Oh no!
Steve was not here to sing it with me, which is my confidence.
Okay, fair enough then. Steve, we gotta be here to sing it with Callum next
Okay.
week.
I'll do a
Hey.
tiny little jingle.
Look at him
Clock's
gonna.
quiz, yeah. That's the only jingle you get.
That's amazing.
I reckon
look at him
Southerners
going-
just sat there thinking, what have I got
What
myself
the
into
fuck is
this week
going
then?
Look at him going onto YouTube now, watching the last SidePOD just to remember the jingle for next week. Anyway,
Go on then, Clock.
got some interesting questions for you. I want the answers in Twitch. I'm not gonna say the word that Rango always picks me for my pronunciations every week. So I'll just say put your
The
answers in Twitch.
Yaki Stewart.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. I'm just no.
The Twitch chat.
Because first he starts talking about that, and then he starts to talk about the driver draw 2 seasons ago, and I just my
Okay,
head
let's
blows up.
Don't spring it up if you don't want to talk about it.
Oh, what happened to the driver draw 2 seasons ago?
No.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Wait, what are you on about?
Just
It might
remember,
be-
get on with it,
Oh,
Clock,
for fuck's
please.
sake!
Get on with
I'm
it.
actually confused now.
I'm just gonna say shit are on fire and on.
Oh, shit are
Um,
on fire. Oh, yeah, that was class.
Anyway, I'll start
Basically,
easy.
hold on. No.
Oh,
The
God.
viewers need to know
For fuck's
this.
sake. That news should have brought it up.
No,
Yeah,
they
I
need
want to know this as well.
Basically, there was a driver back in season 3, I think it was. His name was Chitter on Fire, but as we know, Clock
Oh my god,
can't,
yeah, now I remember
Clock
what you're
can't
talking
say ch, and he said sh,
Probably.
and he said Chitter on Fire, and it was. I don't think he really realised until the deed was done, but it's gone down, particularly in my books, in SLR folklore. Really, it's unrivaled, to be honest, in terms of some of the best things he said. Apart from in the SidePOD last season, when I don't know what exactly, I think he was talking about F1 Legends or something, and Clock was trying to be a nerd, and he was talking about Jackie Stewart, but he called him Yaki Stewart, and I don't know. It's, obviously, it's only his pronunciation, so to the average person, I don't think it's that funny, but to us, it's pretty golden.
Yeah.
So.
I still
We have
don't.
a
The
lot
funny
of
thing is that I
golden
still
moments.
this day don't even know what's wrong with what that even means to what I said. But
What?
Yeah.
Jitter
Well, you do
or
now.
Shitter?
no, but the Jackie one.
Oh,
You said
Yaki.
yak-
That's
Well,
no,
you
it's
said, you said
Jackie.
Yaki, mate.
I think it's quite
What
cute.
even is that?
Yeah, I agree. I
Yaki
think
Stewart.
it's pretty adorable.
Anyway,
All right, go on, Clock. Start the quiz, please, before
yes,
we
I will. It's
run
just
out of time.
I'll start with an easy one.
All right.
If you've read the race report, you're definitely gonna know this. You knew a couple of questions. To be honest, though, if you've read the race report. But there's one driver in SLR who could do his 70th race this week.
Scott,
Who might that be?
FC2OH.
Well done, Ranga. Said it was an easy one to start with, and he smashed it straight away.
thought it was going to be Scott not being, but not being basically missed
And
the
that
whole
is
season.
also the most races ever in SLR. He's currently on 69, obviously. Most other
Okay.
anyone could be the first one to reach
What?
70. So congratulations to him. And there's also, I took a harder mark or milestone, I shall say. That was also in the race report, so you could know it. But one driver who could reach 200 points if he scores at least 3 points in China. Who might that be?
I did read this, but I forgot.
God, I can't remember this one.
Oh, was it 200 points, was it?
He can reach 200 points in SLR if he
Really?
scores 3 points.
Who did you say?
Is it Jam?
No, surely you scored more than that.
200. It's kind of a funny number. That it's not.
What the hell?
Could be.
Can you give us a clue? What season did he join?
I don't know, to be honest. He's been here for... Ooh, I want to say he's been here for at least 2 seasons. I don't know, actually, when he joined.
What division is he in?
He's having a
Oh
couple
no, that'll give it away, won't
different
it?
gamer tags.
Oh.
He's been
Mate, hold on.
You
changing his name.
misspelled his
a bit.
name as well, Clock, you stupid bastard.
Oh my god!
Oh, but you fucking cheater! You fucking cheater! Going on to
I'm not
race.
gonna say,
Fuck
but you've
off.
spelt his name wrong.
You've given it away now. That was when. Oh,
What?
that was another one of Clock's
What?
blunders. As soon as Callum said that he spelled his name wrong, it's
Oh,
kind of
no.
become pretty
I'm looking.
obvious.
How I?
No, I know who it is now.
But usually,
I've
usually,
seen it.
I know who. I know who.
I mean, usually when I spell wrong, it's just because I miss a letter. Because when I write, I just
Yeah.
don't click on the letter. It's not even a spelling mistake. It's just me not reading the race report back. It's what have I
It's
written?
always the same
I like
person.
it. I think it should be done more in race reports.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's always the
it's
same
not that
person.
bad.
Should be-
It's not that bad.
Should be a
Last
feature.
season, I went.
Clock and
Ranga,
race
tell them
reports
what
just
I.
don't go together.
Ranga, tell
In
them what I
Baku.
wrote with his name last season.
In-
Because it's the
No.
same gamer tag as I fucked up last season.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
saying it in public or on the stream.
Run the Jews.
I don't know if you know, Matt, but in Baku last season, after there was a pretty poor showing of driving in Division 1, the driver left before the race report even came out, but it was so poor. Clock actually described it in the race report as shite driving. That's a direct quote.
That's great.
I mean, it was very accurate. It was just the way it came across didn't quite resonate. I don't think.
To be fair, you gotta remember that I'm writing in my second language, and
Doesn't think that really.
I mean, and run
I don't
her,
think that's an
what I-
excuse to be honest,
run
Chief.
her jewels. It's not even that bad. Last season I
Run the
wrote
Jews.
run the Jews, which did not look very good on a race report. But yeah,
I was
it's.
I
coming
was
back to
really
the quiz,
embarrassed
it was,
reading out as well.
It was
was on
it was run
SidePOD.
it was run the Jewels 24.
It was changed
That's two
very
questions
quickly,
down.
wasn't it, Clock?
Oh no, I've just noticed
No.
that my name's spelled wrong.
Oh
Is
fuck
it?
off!
Oh no.
The U's missing. I'm just, I'm not. I kid you. Oh, bless you.
Is
Where's
it
it- where's it,
Southern? Is it
It's a
Southern?
slobber.
Something like that. Oh my god, that's not even close.
Where is it?
Bit further down. It's a few above Scott reaching 70 races.
Sack the man in charge, are you?
It's just. Oh, it's just me. It's just me when I'm writing.
Softeners.
Like, I'm trying to write quickly 'cause I'm training after, and I want to get the report out, and it just misses some letters. The
Sounds
biggest
like a whole lot of
mistake.
excuses.
But I mean, I think
I
it's pretty
agree.
natural that you miss letters. The problem is that I never reread it. I write it and I post it. I should probably read it again, but I'm too lazy.
No, don't reread it because otherwise we won't have this laugh. I mean, this is.
Fair enough.
I'm loving this. This is.
All right, lads. Let's get on with the next question.
Yeah,
yeah,
Stop
we
bullying
have-
clock.
We have
No.
three questions left. 3 questions left. So you get a half point for that one because Callum cheated. But can you tell me who was the first ever winner of the Chinese Grand Prix in SLR?
Oh God.
Well, so it would have been the
Oh,
old
I'm gonna
Div-
now.
It would have been the old Div
Now-
2.
Now
Let-
I wasn't
let-
here to
let-
start, but
And
I did a
Yeah,
bit of
let
history
the others guess
research.
first. Let the others
Oh,
guess
I'm
first,
just
Ranga, because I think you know.
Absolute massive guess. I'm gonna say, was it Presto Evans? Was that it? Is that right? Is that
Problem
right?
for
you're
you.
thinking wrong, mate.
Problem for you is Presto was racing in Division 1, which would
Yep.
be on a Sunday. So
That
it's
would
not
have been
possible.
the last. That would have been the third.
Oh,
winner.
of course.
It's gotta be a Div 2 driver
okay.
at the time.
God, I don't actually
gonna
remember who
say
won.
goat.
It wasn't in the league at that point. I don't think.
Was he not? I thought he started.
I want
winning.
to. I don't.
He was
No, he
in the
didn't.
league. No, he wasn't in the league. He crashed at lap 1.
Oh,
It's in
was
the it's in the old crash montage. His crash actually. He crashed with
Oh,
Gary, I
right.
think.
God. I remember Shock. I remember Junior Fast
Was it you
Boy
then?
being in it. Me.
It was me. No, it was me.
I was gonna say. Was it you? who
It was my
won,
first win.
actually?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
right.
battled
Of course,
with.
that's why it's been included in the quiz.
I had a battle with Jessa. Rangas.
Oh my God.
Jezza would have
Best
been my
mate.
guess. Yeah, I mean Jezza got
Yeah, he
like a
finished.
house on fire.
He finished second, and me and him was battling
I
out.
think
and
I finished last that race.
got my first SLR win.
Yeah, I finished last.
Tough. We were teammates by then as well.
Yeah,
After
I
all
remember that
days.
race was actually the race that set off my arm. So I had to actually go to the doctors the next couple of days just to check my arm because I was having that much of a bad streak with it.
That is a brilliant anecdote. I love it. That's the kind of stories you want. Well,
Go on then, next
two
question.
questions to go.
Yep.
I've got a new kind of questions here. Fill in the missing word from last season's race report in China,
Oh fucking hell!
which is
Jesus.
makes it 2 in a row. So who-
Makes it
What?
2 in a row.
Mid.
I mean,
Oh.
is the word you're gonna
Midzy,
say? I'm
yeah,
saying.
it's Midzy. I remember
I
that.
remember that one.
Ah, well
I
done.
remember that title.
I don't know.
Well done. I'm impressed
Is it
by that,
Mitzi?
actually. It is Mitzi.
Well,
The title
glad we
was
got that so quickly.
Mitzi makes it 2 in a row after winning Bahrain and China, I presume. This next question, final question, is a bit fitting actually. We was talking about the SLR has almost been we're going off 2 years now, but how long is it actually until our birthday, measured in days?
Oh my God!
Oh.
In days.
No
for
idea.
those
You
who
fucking
for
bastard.
those who's actually visited the race report will know there's a not the race report, the website I mean, will know there is a little sign on the bottom left when you scroll
Yeah, there
down that
is,
it
but-
actually says how many days, but
No idea.
I don't think anyone actually looks at it very often, and Callum, do not go and look before
I'm not.
I
anyone
don't know
The
how
only
many
guess.
reference I have.
No,
See,
it's somewhere.
I
The
know
only
November.
reference I have.
I know the date, and I'm just trying to guess, or trying to work out in my head how many it is. I'm gonna say 76.
It's a good guess. It's a bit more.
Okay.
95.
That's a bit too much.
Oh.
Just Smoke and Callum left then.
I'll go 85 then.
85 is a bit too little. Let's see if
Oh,
Callum can
no.
nail this.
I was nowhere near them.
Fucking hell, man! You've set this bar high. Oh my lord.
It's gonna be between 85 and 95, so you got 10 numbers to pick from.
85 and 95, fucking hell. 92.
You are 3 days off. It's actually 89 days. Steve guessed 86 in the chat, so he was pretty close as well, but it's 89. And the date is...
son.
Can it be quick? What is the date? Bonus question.
Go on, Maggie, you say it.
9th of November,
Sixth of-
isn't it?
Well done, Ranga. Yeah, you're probably gonna know that when you're legal, though, to be fair.
See, my only
would say at
reference,
least.
my frame of reference for the date is because it's a couple days after my actual birthday. So that's the only way I can usually remember it, but I couldn't remember the exact date.
So everyone just remember
Shit.
to have a cake for SLR the 9th of November. Important
Of
day
course.
that. You could
I'll
argue
keep
though
half
that
of my own.
the actual birthday is earlier, but the 9th of November is the
First.
exact date when the first race was held.
Yep.
So depending on how you count, you could say it's a week before roughly when we started recruiting drivers and whatever, but I've picked the 9th of November as the official date, so everyone just gotta accept that.
Alright then, thank you for the quiz as usual, Clock. It's always a pleasure to witness the monstrosity that is your quiz sometimes.
Wow.
I can't believe
Oh.
you gave us a birthday.
Harsh. Controversial.
It's too warm for me to be nice. Nah, we love your quiz, Clock.
Do
We
we?
missed you when we had to have Beast do it. But Beast did actually a pretty good job. Doesn't ever, Beast's quiz doesn't sort of roll off the tongue like Clock's quiz does, so... So, thank you again,
think-
Clock, and I'll have a jingle ready for next week.
Yeah, I hope so. I think what makes me fit there is because I'm the stats master of SLR, though. I'm a bit crazy, to be honest, but I like it.
Alright. So, just kind of round out the very long podcast that it's been so far. I like to just, announce the drivers of the week. I think, yeah, that's right.
Tried to get Craig into the party for anyone who's wondering, and Callum,
Yeah.
of course, but both of them. Well, Callum's working. He's got
Yeah.
a lovely work schedule this week, so he's unfortunately not going to be with us. And well, it's a bit late now anyway. But Craig, he's also pushed for time, so unfortunately couldn't be here, which is a shame. He deserves to bask in the glory of
Yeah, he
his
does.
beautiful debut win. But,
I just realised I completely forgot to actually, vote. Whoops. So, as you
Wow.
heard, SLR McKeon,
Wow.
or Callum McKeon, but driver of the week for, I think it was F2, and I'm going to read out the little piece. Drove strong race and eventually picking up the win after Zydrad runs into problems with a car he's about to lap. So, congratulations to Callum McKeon. And,
Drama.
like you heard, Craig FK, or Craig, I don't know why that was stupid. Of course, after having little to no luck last season, masters the walls of Vietnam and picks up his first ever league race win. And first ever win in SLR. So, congratulations to Craig. And that comes off...
Absolute
what is it?
scenes.
It comes off the back of moving down into Div 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, won
Was
on
it
his
that-
second
was it
debut.
last week or the week before?
No, it was his second debut. It was his
Second
in
race in Div 3.
in Div 3. So
Congratulations
obviously
then.
it's nice to start off in the way he did. Hopefully, he doesn't dominate the races, otherwise we'll look like absolute clowns
Oof.
having moved him. But I think he should be in the right division. I think he's changed his setup a lot. I think we were talking about how it's more than a video game. Craig has spent a lot of money on a new setup and wheel and monitors and the whole shebang because of his love for league racing, or particularly SLR, because I'm pretty sure it's his only league. and he loves it so much. He spent a lot of money to have a better experience, I think. So it was nice to see him race in a slightly more competitive division. I think his old pace would have been fine for Div 2.
Yeah.
But he, I think he's sort of kind of lost a little bit of pace by changing the settings, but that's bound to happen. He's probably going to find it at some point. But there's some pretty
No
quick
doubt I'll
guys
be
in
back
Div 3.
racing us in Div 2.
Yeah, I imagine should he have a good season, he may well find himself in Div 2 next season. But I think particularly for the time being, he's well suited in Div 3 because, like I say, there's some pretty guys in there, some pretty competitive. We all know what Gareth's like. He's got some really good pace. Scott's got some really good pace. I'm trying to think of some Div 3 drivers now. He's got some good pace. Ned's found some really good pace since changing over to the wheel. There's a couple of guys who could take it to him. So luckily, I think he's going to have it all his own way. Should be.
Yeah, congratulations to him. So hope you have enjoyed this podcast. It's been a long one. We had some big discussions about different things.